So NBA 2K24 will get a Season 4 patch that should be dropping fairly soon, and there's one important gameplay update that we should consider. And for 5v5 in my team play mode, guys, this is the one that we've been waiting for. Reduced the effectiveness of the cut to the basket pass, which, if you're not familiar, look at the screen right now. That is it. You can hold triangle or Y for Xbox, and it will immediately send your offensive player to the basket. Jimmy Butler right here is being given space by Kobe Bryant because I've got my settings on moderate to sort of help stop that backdoor cut. But it doesn't matter, and take note, this is Kobe Bryant with Hall of Fame off-ball pest. My opponent just sent Jimmy Butler for a backdoor cut. And see there, off-ball pest on Hall of Fame was activated, but that backdoor cut, without any setup, had huge success. And this was a problem in NBA 2K23, and it's an even bigger problem in NBA 2K24, especially with the badge like Spot Finder being added. Here, my opponent has no shame. Second straight possession on offense, what does he do? He just holds triangle, sends Jimmy Butler backdoor as if Kobe weren't there. I sent Giannis for help, but it didn't matter. So, now that I downloaded the update, I wanted to test how the triangle cut works. And as you can see right there, despite my long press of triangle, the pass was immediately sent to the defender, not even a second into holding triangle. That means those long presses will not work anymore. So take a look at the controller indicator. You can see even though I'm holding triangle for a long time, the pass was released way early. But there's still a way to send your players on a backdoor cut. Tap L1. Choose your selected player with the icon above your head and then press square to send them to a cut to the basket. And I've noticed that there's still some success here. But before you get upset, take a look at the few clips that I've gathered to try to test this out. It seems that defensive awareness and the badges like off-ball pest are much more powerful. Take a look at how Paul George puts himself between Jaylen Brown and the basket, so that you can anticipate the backdoor cut and steal if that pass still goes through. While you can still find success using backdoor cuts, I do not advise it against guys like Kawhi and Paul George. As you can see right there, Jason Tatum probably doesn't have the badge, or if at all. But against guys like Kawhi and Paul George, just take a look at how they defend this play right here. Paul George wasn't even Jason Tatum's man. But even then, look at Kawhi Leonard putting himself in between the ball and Jason Tatum and the basket. So I'm not saying that 2K fixed the off-ball defense problem completely, but it feels like this part is also tweaked a little bit. And in my team, that's gonna mean players with interceptor, off-ball pest, high defensive awareness ratings will be important. As you can see right here, Derek White goes for a little dive to the basket. Your cutter help settings will also be important. As you can see right there, Zubac helped on defense. Generally, what I'm seeing is an ability by the CPU AI defense to put themselves in a position to defend that play a little bit better. Now, I'm still gonna have to do some tests and observations, but it seems like fixing the triangle cut isn't the only fix. Maybe off-ball pest got a little bit of a buff, and maybe the defensive ratings and awareness ratings and the steal ratings matter much more. But this is something that, we'll have to see how this plays out as more and more people in the community try to find a way around this. So first, the triangle cut has been nerfed completely to the ground. I wouldn't even use that button on offense as any sort of fake out mechanic. It's completely useless. Second, you can still send backdoor cuts by using the quick play menu, but it seems like defensive awareness might have been improved a little bit. And what a change like this will have as an effect on gameplay is that now people will be searching for easier ways to score. And I said this before the patch, I think there are two ways that people will respond. One, people will call more spread pick and roll 5 out, leaners out of screens or dives to the basket. I think that's going to be an easy way, especially with cards with Hall of Fame Brick Wall, Agent 3's Midi Magician and Hall of Fame and all of those. That's going to be a primary way for people to want to score. But second, people will also start calling off-ball plays. And slowly, I've noticed a lot of people really trying to call a lot more plays. Which, if that's your offense, I don't mind it. I call plays as well. It's also a good way to involve, people who like to sit in corners and not defend actions. So I think a lot more people will try to explore this method in scoring. Right now, I'm not seeing very good players running play calls. It's mostly guys that have one or two play calls in their bag that they go to repeatedly and don't understand how actions branch into different plays. So it's still at a basic level, but I think people will move that towards that, especially since on-ball defense by the AI is still really good. So it's going to be an interesting next few days to see how people who have been reliant on backdoor cuts, as my opponent starts calling these flare screen plays, as you can see, it's going to be interesting to see how the community responds. And by the community, I mean the rat community, those guys that continue to hold Y or triangle as their primary offense. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt. Will they do the backdoor cut via the quick play menu, which in my opinion can be defended way more easily and has a much bigger penalty and requires a little bit more skill as opposed to just holding one button? So am I completely happy with the fix? In terms of completely nerfing the triangle cut to the ground, yes. In terms of making the overall fixes necessary to address backdoor cuts in general, I think this is something that I still need to observe. I showed you in the clips in 2KU, there seems to be an improvement in terms of off-ball defensive awareness, but again, these are quick tests that need to be observed continuously, and more importantly, let's see how the community evolves and if they can figure out ways around this. And the patch overall for Season 4 seems to be more a general bug fix type of patch. Gameplay-wise, I think this is the biggest gameplay update. There will be likeness updates as well. I think Chet will get one. Wemby will also get one. I'm showing you here, second game I got matched up against the same guy. And now that I've scouted what his offensive bag is, which is basically zero, basically holding triangle, I completely dominated him in this game. So the Season 4 patch, if you are a team-based mode player, as a non-My Career Game mode player, I think this is a fundamental patch that could completely change the online experience and how people play the game. I think it puts NBA 2K24 online, for Play Now online, for My Team online in a better place. But the community is creative, man. One thing I learned is that, patch one thing, first of all, there might be unintended consequences. Second, community will just work overtime to figure out what the next easy way to score is. My guess is we're going to see a lot more spread pick and roll, leaners, and dives to the basket. And then second, an increase in play call frequency and maybe the quick play backdoor cut method. So there you have it, the Season 4 patch breakdown. I think this patch can potentially save a lot of modes from the player base. For example, I don't like to go into unlimited because if I get stuck with a guy that's sending 4 or 5 backdoor cuts my way in a 30-minute game where I can't quit or face bans, I think this is a massive W. So definitely still need to observe in the coming days, but I think as a first start, it's a big W.